who keeps telling me to bring the tea bags out to Saudi, which I will do.
This is Jonathan Aguilar here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Frank Smith, Matchroom CEO, here at the weigh-in for Bam Rodriguez and Sonny Edwards. Frank, we're obviously filming this just before the weigh-in starts, but obviously you've probably seen the guys maybe today. How are they both looking heading into the weigh-in?
Yeah, looking in great shape. I think the weigh-in's always tough, making that weight, but they're looking in great shape. Both ready to go. They know what a test this is, both of them. This fight could go either way. I think they've had the best camps of their careers, and ready for a big night on Saturday.
I saw Eddie having a bit of a debate on Twitter yesterday with the Ring magazine about why the belt's not on the line. Has there been any development on that, and what's your thoughts on the situation?
No change. We've obviously been speaking to him ever since this fight was made, to try and get it sanctioned for the Ring magazine belt, but it's not going to be. The fight carries on. We still get to enjoy the fight. It's a shame, but it is what it is.
I spoke to you just before the press conference yesterday, and I wasn't sure that it was going to go that way. Did you have a feeling it would? Because the whole build-up's been pretty respectful. There's been very little trash talk, but Sonny seemed to had enough, really.
Yeah, look, I think it's been a long build-up as well. This fight was made and announced sort of 4 months ago, I think now. 4 or 5 months ago we made this fight, and there's been, I think now it's really heating up. It's real now. We're just 24 hours away from them two getting in the ring in the fight of their career, and I think Sonny's very good at that side of things. He's a great talker and he can get under people's skins. Jesse, not so much. Jesse's more quiet, and I think it was always going to come. It was just when it came.
Sonny, obviously, a lot of people say he's one of, if not the best British boxer at the moment. A win over Bam Rodriguez, what does that do for his career?
Yeah, look, I think at that point I think the winner of this fight has to go, be as an argument for being in that top pound for pound list. Sonny is a tremendous fighter, and I think he would be up there as one of the number one in British boxing now. It's a big fight for both of their careers, and huge nights riding off the back of this, because there's massive fights to be made. And
in terms of those massive fights, who would the winner be looking at fighting?
Depends what they want to do. There's options to go look at other, moving in weight as well. There's a lot of talk about a potential Estrada fight as well. Would be interesting. So we just want to make the biggest fights possible, and both of these guys want that as well. They don't want to look. Jesse is very young and he wants to move as quickly as possible, as well as does Sonny, and take the biggest fights out there, not waste time. Because in the weight division they're in as well, you need the right dance partner, and for people to get invested in the fight, and I think they realise that and are willing to go into tough fights.
We saw some back and forth between Peter McGrael and his opponent and Junaid Boston and his opponent. Is that something you're going to look at doing more in the future, these American versus British clashes? Because it seems to bring out the trash talk between a lot of them, and I'm sure there'll be good fights.
Junaid's was literal back and forth on the floor. It's always good to build a bit, build something between fighters, and I think as well, that both those guys, Peter, Junaid, they've got a long way to go still in their careers, and they're going to face those sort of nights as they go through their careers, and to do it in this, in this way as they're coming through and get that experience, I think is only good for them, and it actually gets you fired up. Like you can go in there against an opponent, there's no feeling towards, and whereas here, you're actually going to get fired up to get in there and have a tear up.
Just moving away for the card for the minute, Jerome Boots Ennis, obviously you've mentioned you held talks, etc., but nothing finalised. Some people online suggesting that, or questioning, which fighters could you actually deliver him with a lot of the fighters aligned with the PBC. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, but I think we got to position Jerome as as a star in the sport, and fighters will then come across to fight him as well, and I think that's what we can do, especially with the current BBC situation. I think they're going to do less shows now with the Amazon side of things. I think that means there's going to be more opportunities for them with working with other promoters. So I think there's going to be enough opportunities. The key for us and the focus would be getting his signature, and then we work from there.
And Conor, Ben, what's the latest in terms of an opponent? There's rumours circulating he will. Well, Eddie has said he'll still go February 3rd. Is that likely to be in America?
That's one of the options we're working on now. Yeah. So hopefully in the next week that will all be ready to go.
Day of reckoning next week. You'll be out there in Saudi Arabia. First of all, what's it like? What do you think of the whole situation with all the promoters working together, and you gonna meet Frank Warren?
Yeah, I think it's good that everyone's working together. We've had a good relationship. Been working with George, obviously, and a bit my mate Andy Alien, who keeps telling me to bring the tea bags out to Saudi, which I will do. But yeah, it's good. It's good. Anything that benefits the sport is good, and it's only going to be beneficial for our business, all of our businesses, and all of our fighters. So that's a positive. I'm looking forward to seeing Frank, and say hello. Wonder if he'll give me a cuddle, and we'll get on again.
He said he questioned why you weren't in the video, and he said his quote: "They could have saved a fortune on makeup if you're in the video." What do you want to say back to that?
Yeah, I mean. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I look like a vampire. Where did you say that? I thought
said it in an interview yesterday.
I thought we were friends again, but they probably could have done. I would have looked like a natural extra, wouldn't I? I would have been one of the heads they ran over. But here's what it is. We move on.
He also said that he is the lead promoter for Joshua Wilder in association with obviously yourselves and whoever else. Joshua Wilder, if that fight happens. Is that correct that he's kind of, in charge but he's in association with you? How does this whole thing work?
Well, the fight's not made yet. We're focusing on December 23rd, obviously. So that's the focus right now. And then we work from there. But the Wilder fight, that's not what we're discussing right now. It's Joshua Wilder. It's a tough fight. You've got to focus on that, and then we work from there.
And obviously Deontay Wilder came out questioning Joshua's mindset and mentality. What did you make of his comments?
Deontay Wilder's comments.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's all part of the game, isn't it? Everyone talking about each other. AJ's focused. He's looked in unbelievable shape in camp. He knows that he's got a test in front of him, and he's got to focus on that test in Otto Wilder. People for years have jumped on the back of judging everything Anthony Joshua says, and I think he's very much used to it now. So you sort of just brush it off.
How do you feel he'll do under Ben Davidson?
I think Ben Davidson's a tremendous trainer, and obviously he's built a great relationship with him. And I think I hope to see even further improvements, because he's shown a lot of improvements over the last year. The key has been keeping active. The confidence of that knockout as well, I think, will help going into this fight. So I think you're going to see an even further improved Anthony Joshua.
Final one, Frank, as we close the year off, what's been your highlight? Maybe it's to come on Saturday night, but what's been the highlight of the year, and how do you feel Matchroom are in relation to Boxer and Queensbury? How do you feel Matchroom's position is in the UK?
Yeah, look, I believe we're the leading global promoter and in the UK. I believe everyone's delivered great nights of boxing this year, even all of our competitors, not just ourselves. I think it's been a great year for boxing. Some massive fights have been made. And I think there's some massive fights working on to be made in 2024 as well. So yeah, I think overall it's been brilliant. Looking forward to next year. There's been so many great nights this year. I think we've had 34 shows by the end of next week. So it's been a busy old run. But yeah, lots to look forward to next year, and just sort of don't get complacent, just move on to the next one and keep it rolling. Any
particular highlights, any fights that stand out for you that you've put on?
I loved the 2 Cameron Taylor fights. There's something about the atmosphere of the show, everything around that was special, and they were huge. But look, there was loads of big nights though, loads of big nights this year. Mexico with Canelo and John Ryder was an unbelievable night as well. So many nights. It's hard to remember them all when you're coming off a run of 14 shows, I think, in 15 weeks. But a good year.
Frank Smith, thanks for your time, and we'll look forward to this fight live on DAZN tomorrow night.
Cheers, pal.